Welcome to Legend Collection Live. Jody Morris, welcome to Match Worn Shirt.
Pleasure to be here, mate.
Great to have you, mate. Great to have you. An unbelievable selection of shirts in front of us, some unbelievable shirts behind us. But we're going to start off with a bit of a neutral question. What's the first football shirt that you ever actually remember in your life? Not one that you played in, but your first memory.
Probably the early Chelsea one from like maybe 84. I think it was Kerry Dixon is the main one. It was just blue with had like a white little chunky little stripe down either side. I think it was about 84, 85. That's probably the first. And a Fulham shirt, because I'm from Fulham, probably your earliest England memories as well. I'd probably say like an 86 World Cup.
Amazing. And when you started playing professionally, obviously you were Chelsea's youngest ever Premier League appearance holder, and I think you still hold that record to this day.
Yeah, holding on for dear life, I think, at the minute with the amount of talent they have at Chelsea. But yeah, managed to make my debut under Glenn Hoddle at a really young age, sort of like 42 days after my 17th birthday.
Yeah, I think that's actually the shirt here. If you grab that one for me.
Yeah, I mean it's.
Do you think you've grown into it yet?
I mean the shirts were baggy back in the day then anyway. I mean.
That's mental.
Yeah, and there's obviously a few people that signed it, and hopefully sort of first of many. And
there you go. Well done, Jody.
That was Wisey's. That one, that's Wisey's, yeah.
That's the full squad, I think. Amazing. And you've actually got also the Dennis Wise shirt there. So was he your first captain at Chelsea?
Yeah. I cleaned his boots as well.
Did you really?
First and foremost, obviously a really good player, top player, played for England, captain of the club, very demanding. He was by far the hardest. Not just because, obviously, you're always worried about getting the captain's gear wrong. And back in the day there, we used to kind of do the whole kit. So you had to go and collect your pro's kit, lay it out, anything he needed, whether it be pants or socks. He ain't got, I've only got a left sock, these are the wrong sock or whatever. He'd shout down the corridor, Jody! And then you'd be like, right, what have I done wrong? Wisey used to choose who his boot boys was. Most of the other pros didn't really care, but he watched me play in a youth cup game when I was only 15. We lost at Stamford Bridge and he battered the rest of the team who were like sort of 17, 18-year-olds. And he'd give me a quick boost at the end of it. Yeah, so I was buzzed.
What did that mean at the time?
Oh, amazing, amazing. Just like obviously the first team player, just recognising you knew who your name was. And obviously Wisey not being the biggest, but being able to play in centre midfield, there was obviously a lot of things I could try and take from his game. A lot of that was to do with finding other ways to deal with the physicality, and you might have to be a little bit crafty now and then.
You both had a bit of that in your game, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, I think you had to when you was playing in midfield in those days.
It's also a pretty nice shirt as well.
Yeah, it was a decent one, this yellow one. I always liked it, to be fair.
Do you think football misses a little bit of that with the boot cleaning and the having to sort of be dragged upwards? Whereas now everything at the age that you made your debut, it's a completely different game now.
My era of when I was coming through, the first day cleaning Stamford Bridge, from the stands to the toilets, the dressing room. Then the next day you'd be at the training ground cleaning everywhere, the walls. If things needed repainting and all that, you'd do everything. And everybody wasn't allowed to leave the training ground until all jobs was done. That was too much for that side of it. And probably nowadays there's probably not enough. So I think somewhere in between would be a really good balance, because you want people to get discipline and know what it's like to be a team. It's character building. I liked it a lot for the fact that you'd have first team players mixing with youth team players.
You mentioned to me previously about playing against Patrick Vieira, and we've got his shirt here, which I guess is the Dreamcast shirt, is it, from Arsenal? Yeah. So this is probably 2001, 2002.
Any game that I played against him, I came away just being so annoyed with myself for how I played. He could score goals, he could run past you, he could tackle, but he also was adamant on dominating his opposite midfielder. With him, I just felt that he had a thing that where he'd go, I am not going to let you play today. He had the longest legs and he would make up ground that you check your shoulders and go, okay, I've got a little bit of room here, take a touch. All of a sudden, you could see these big, long legs coming round from nowhere. Elbows, I mean, I know that I was probably his elbow height when I was going up against him. So it used to be easy for him to leave it on. But, he would do it with a bit of purpose as well, to go, not only will I take the ball off you, but I'll try and hurt you as well. And he's one of my favourites, even though I hated him because he always played well against me.
That's also the ultimate sign of respect, right? Is if at the end of that, after feeling that level of frustration, also to be able to say, what an unbelievable athlete, can I swap shirts with you? So there's only 3 shirts of Premier League swaps. I think there's a Nick Barmby one from a pre-season game. From what I can see and having spoken to you before, I think there's only the 2 players here, which is Rio and Patrick. Was this when you were at Chelsea?
Yeah. This was when we played against each other. We played together for London at under 12.
It's either covered in blood or Oh no, it's mud. That's a nice touch though, that it's still got...
Oh, no, yeah, listen, I think we ended up beating them that game as well. Remained mates ever since. We've been on holidays together with close family, so... A
nice link as well, because obviously you then went on to play at Leeds. So quite a weird thing that one of your only Premier League swaps was at Ellen Road, and then you also went to play for them, and it's not that common for a Chelsea player to go up and play in Ellen Road.
And they certainly let you know that when it ain't going well.
Yeah, that's the fallback, is it?
There's a couple of songs that Leeds fans would certainly bring out.
I don't think we'll be airing them today, but...
Michael Dubry that was there, it was a good pal of mine as well, so...
Michael Dubry at Leeds? When you played there?
Yeah, so...
Because he was also at Chelsea when you were...
Even when Rio signed, like, I went up for the day that he was signing, because Dubs was a big mate of mine already there. And when he was signing, I went up, and when he was doing his medical, we ended up going out. Yeah, big club, great fans.
Just not when it's going the bad way.
No, yeah, not for a former Chelsea player anyway.
We've got to touch a little bit as well on the finals, because there's some unbelievable shirts here. I guess the one that's got relevance to what we've already discussed is 2002, because I assume Patrick Vieira played in that game.
I even remember Lamps' story regarding that.
Still a ridiculously nice shirt with the AXA patches on and everything.
But Lamps talking about it, he felt that Vieira was one of the toughest to play against as well, but I actually thought Lamps played really well in that final, and I thought that was a bit of a turning point for Lamps. Even though we lost, I felt that he played really well in that final, and I thought, like I said, when you play well against someone who can dominate you and can really stop you playing, and was, for me, one of the best in the league. I always remember saying to him, I know we lost, but I thought you'd done great, and like dealt with him from a physical aspect as well. And we obviously see where Lamps goes to after that. Do you know what I mean?
Was it Ray Parlour that scored the screamer in that goal?
Yeah, and it was the one where JT woke up in the morning with
vertigo.
Vertigo, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he woke up in the morning and like it done something to his ear.
The only other one we'll touch on, which I guess one of the best ones for you personally, because you did play in this final.
Yeah, I mean, but I played a lot in like the build-up rounds and scored, and I was really devastated not to get on in the semis, because I'd played in every round up until then, and I was fuming. But
who was the semi-final against in 2000? Was that the
Newcastle? And then it was Villa in the final. So I was just pleased to get on the pitch. But yeah, being the last ever FA Cup final at the old Wembley, and obviously a childhood dream. The FA Cup was everything, do you know what I mean? So to be able to be on the winning side and pick up a winner's medal for the team that you supported as a boy is a dream.
And the fact that it's got that written there, FA Cup Wembley 2000. To be honest, that leads us very nicely on, because it was the same year then, was it? 1990-2000, the Champions League run, which is where the bulk of your collection, really, in terms of the most shirts that you collected in one season, was from this year. Because of these shirts in front of us, which I think is, as a collection, one of the coolest Champions League collections, because I think for what it means to Chelsea supporters. What was it like to be part of that team in Europe? Obviously there was the Cup Winners' Cup run, but this was really the elite. And if you look at the names of the teams here, it's all big clubs that Chelsea played in that series. So how was that year as a player and to be part of the squad going on those trips?
Yeah, qualifying for the Champions League was huge for us as a club. We felt that we was making steps. Maybe we could compete not only just in the Premier League, but maybe we could stand up against some of the better teams. And
I've only learnt this morning when I was reading into it, but there was a first group stage and a second group stage then, which I didn't remember. I just remembered it being one. But I think the only one missing here was, I think it was a game against Hertha Berlin.
Oh yeah.
On this side there was the final game as well. But otherwise you've got one from every opposition there. Lazio, AC Milan, Marseille. Is that Gala? That's Galatasaray?
Yeah.
Galatasaray, and then the two for Barcelona. But I want to start, if we can, with the two guy shirt, because this is the two guy that went on to play for Blackburn. That game was an iconic one. So tell us what happened in that match.
When you arrive at the airport and you've got sort of like welcome to hell, and there's like fireworks, and there's about 2,000 fans, and I found that all that sort of stuff like funny. I thought it was good. There was fans everywhere, but there was police everywhere as well. And then you see things being thrown and chucked at the coach, and you're kind of like, you're still looking out the window thinking, yeah, I'm on the coach, you're out there. And all of a sudden one of the windows just comes crashing through. Police was like coming on and saying everything all right and blah blah blah, and we was like, yeah, we're fine, there's just a bit of glass in, it weren't near me, thank God. And then we get there early, and anybody that knows kind of like the Turkish way, when there's big games, the stadium's packed. And you start coming up, and then all of a sudden you see the riot police either side with like the sort of like shields, and they lean across each other just to stop whatever's being thrown at us coming out. And we play, and we battered them 5-0. We all played well. They've almost felt that they was trying to kill us before the game, and then once we battered them and it was 5-0, they actually thought, respect. And they, as I said, there was the amount of like claps you were getting going home. I remember thinking, God, that was weird.
Turkish football is incredible. We also see it on our platform. The fans in Turkey are like no other. to do that and to come out and clap the team afterwards, I think is...
Yeah, I mean, the only bad thing I kind of took away from that was I used to have a midfielder, Emre. Do you remember who played for Newcastle as well? Yeah. And he spat at me.
Really?
Yeah, he spat at me on the pitch. But yeah, that's the only downside I took away from that. But he was a player.
And was this is not from that game, right? This is from the Stamford Bridge game, or is this from...
No, that's from the Stamford Bridge game.
Amazing. You went to some incredible atmospheres and stadiums in that run, because that was also the San Siro game, right? In the opening group. Yeah. So it was AC Milan.
I came in at half time for Dan Petrescu.
Also another iconic shirt though with that badge, because they didn't play in that badge for much longer after that. How's the San Siro to play in?
We'd played there before. We played AC Milan in a friendly the year before.
I think you've got a shirt from that game up there.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I played against Edgar Davids in midfield and he was phenomenal, I thought. But I remember just being slightly disappointed. You all think about the San Siro as being this amazing stadium, and it is, it's iconic. And you think of AC Milan teams, they were obviously the best team that we kind of knew growing up. I remember being slightly disappointed, and then and I also was disappointed with the quality of the pitch as well. When we played them there, Marcel Desailly there was a big banner up and a huge ovation for him. And I remember moaning to him saying, "Oh, the pitch, I was really..." And he was just like, "Yeah, the sunlight don't hit a part of the pitch and it can suffer a little bit." But as far as an atmosphere goes, yeah, it was great, and it was made that much better because of the amount of Chelsea fans that travelled.
Had the whole end, I think. It's just with the same end that Dennis Wise scored that goal.
So when Robbie Di Matteo played an amazing pass.
They still sing about that goal today, I'm told.
Of course they do. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like the real fans are going, yeah, we remember what it was like when we first got into the Champions League.
You mentioned about this player. You'd seen him play at Barcelona, De La Peña.
Yeah. De La Peña was unbelievable. They called him the little Buddha at Barcelona. Phenomenal midfielder. So when we drew Marseille, I remember that was one of the things that I straight away said.
You clocked him.
I remember they going, "Oh, they've got De La Peña's there," and I remember just thinking, going, "Please let me play in those games in my head."
Do you know if this was Stamford Bridge or was this the Velodrome?
I think that's Stamford Bridge. The type of midfielder that he was, I loved how he used to play side foot passes into the striker, around the corners and all that, and he was such a technical player. Typical La Masia player. He was bald-headed and they called him Little Buddha. He was such a good player,
Amazing.
The Lazio one away, it might have been a draw, you know.
Veron went on to play for Chelsea not too long after that.
I remember playing against him and Di Baggio at Parma, and I couldn't get anywhere near him. And I remember I didn't play in this actual game. I played in the home game. Funny enough, was against Simeone in midfield.
Wow.
Wish I'd have got that one. But anyway, I didn't play in that one, but I remember he played brilliant. He was unbelievable in that game. And I actually remember joking with Wisey, going, "Oh, Wisey, look, I've got Veron's shirt, probably the closest you got to it tonight." But because we hadn't, and he basically made a face at me as if to go, "You better get away from me."
Yeah, and I've got to say as well, that Del Monte sponsor on that shirt, Lazio shirts have always been iconic, but I think that one particularly, is it a long sleeve one as well? Yeah.
He was brilliant.
We move on to the knockout rounds, straight into the quarters.
Yeah, it was quarters back then.
And this game was the one at Stamford Bridge.
That's why I think the format was a little bit different. But this one, obviously, Reisiger played. This one was more iconic for me because I thought I was playing against Guardiola. All the focus on my job and a lot of the actual team tactics was based around stopping Guardiola play. When the teams get announced, sort of like hour and 45 before kickoff, he's not playing, he's injured. Albert Ferrer comes up to me, who was at Barca before, and says, "He's not playing, but the person you're playing against is the new version of him. You have to do exactly the same." I said, "What's he like?" And he was like, "He's small." And I remember just being buzzing, going, "Okay." He said his name's Xavi, he plays for Spain under 21s. And I remember Luca coming up to me as well. I've just been on the phone to somebody who knows him really well, and you need to be prepared exactly the same. Your job doesn't change. Twice I've done a man-mucking job in my whole career, and both times was against Barcelona.
And you've got both those shirts?
Yeah. So, but like I said, when I was going up against him, you could tell that he was so comfortable in possession, and he was...
And how young would he have been then, Jody?
He was a year below me. I always remember just thinking, so buzzing. He's not a lot older than me, and he's not big, which was rare for me, for them not to be towering all over me. So I'd done okay, and the team played great, and we won 3-1. It was a massive result for us when you consider they have Figo, Rivaldo, Kluivert. So yeah, it was a great result for us. Fast forward, I don't know how many years, 07 or 06? Yeah, it must have been 07. He was then having his going into his testimonial year, his 10th year. Barcelona radio sort of station or whatever sent cameras and all that to Millwall's training ground and
to come and speak to you.
Yeah, about Xavi's been asked all these questions and they said, who's your toughest opponent? And he went, I have to say this person because I felt like that if I'd have gone to the toilet, he'd have followed me to the toilet. And he says, yeah, Morris at Chelsea. So I'm then giving it to all the Millwall players going, it's all right, lads, it's just Barcelona. They need to speak to me about Xavi, calling me his toughest opponent. Xavi said, you're the best he's ever played against. I went, it definitely wasn't the best. He definitely went toughest, and only because I just followed him everywhere. It was like...
Have you seen him since?
No. He certainly, his trajectory of career was a little bit different to mine.
We'll have to try and track down who got his shirt from that game. That might have been his Champions League debut.
I didn't even think to swap with him anyway. I was just disappointed he weren't playing Guardiola. But yeah, if you had Hindsight United on your side, then you'd have gone, definitely get hold of Xavi's shirt.
Well, it leads us nicely on to the final piece, really, the final piece of the jigsaw. And you mentioned he wasn't playing in the first leg, but he played in the second. It wasn't such a good game for Chelsea on the pitch.
Listen, we done all right. We only lost 3-1. It was the same.
So it went to extra time.
I loved him as a player before going there. As I said, I was massively looking forward to playing against him at Stamford Bridge. So 1 and 2 touch football with him and Bakero in midfield, they were amazing for me. So getting to play, and I'd done okay in the game, to be fair. As far as when we was on the ball, it was just trying to stop him playing was a lot harder than what it was in the first game. And it's different at the Nou Camp. Barcelona play different at home. We've seen it over the years before and since, that they sometimes take their foot off the gas knowing that they've got a second leg. We lose 3-1, then it goes to extra time, and then they score 2 in extra time. But
a good thing to come away from that, though, and so to still be thinking after 120 minutes to get hold of this. And I think you mentioned you swapped this on the pitch with him. What happened with the swap?
He was one that I'd never left his side, or tried not to leave his side. I had to do a man marking job, and I remember shaking hands with him at the end of the game and like hugging all that, and I said, can I have your shirt? He went, yeah, no problem. And as I'm saying, okay, thank you very much, and I was almost like going, good luck in the semis or whatever it is. And then I heard like Frank LeBoeuf from behind me going, Pep, can I take your shirt? I'm about to walk off, and I waited there as if to go, he ain't nicking that shirt. He's just told me he's like going to swap with me. If you're going to give it to anyone, you'd go with Frank LeBoeuf, the World Cup winner, right? But I remember just swapping shirts with Pep on the pitch, making sure that I weren't walking off the pitch. Even though I was devastated, I still thought, I'm coming away with one of my heroes. And then he went on to be someone else that I looked up to from a coaching capacity as well. I mean, changed the game, not just from a winning perspective, but the type of football that is played all over the world, trying to chase. Originally, what he adapted from Cruyff, but for me, he's the governor.
The governor. You might not have won the trophy that year, Jody, but I think it's safe to say you got a trophy shirt. Jody, thank you very much for your time. Unbelievable shirts and a top man. So thank you very much.
Pleasure, top man.